Welcome to Politics Unusual. I'm Morgan Mackay. We are officially in the home stretch with the November election a little more than 3 weeks away. Thank goodness. But for these last few shows, we're going to be giving candidates in the mayor's race a chance to share their final message to voters and their actual plan for the city. So we're kicking things off with the Republican nominee, Curtis Sliwa. Then we're speaking with the City Council Speaker, Adrian Adams, about the questions that will be on the back of your ballot. And then we're checking in on the New Jersey governor's race. In the coming weeks before November, we will also be joined by the Democratic nominee, Zohran Mamdani, here on set. We also have numerous requests out to Andrew Cuomo and hope he will join the show as well. But joining us now is the Republican nominee, Curtis Sliwa, who is also running as an independent on the Protect Animals ballot line. Welcome back to the show.
Well, now I need to ask you, should I do the rest of this segment with the beret? Should I take off my beret?
I mean, you said you're going to take it off permanently when you're elected, correct?
Exactly. If people are so disturbed by me wearing this beret, elect me mayor, I promise. Cross my heart, help to die. I'll never wear it again.
That's great. So we have a lot of topics to cover. So if you can keep your answers as concise as possible so we can try to get through as many topics as we can, perfect. So let's start with one of your main platforms, public safety. And in the first 100 days of your administration, what are 2 things that you're going to do to help New Yorkers feel safer?
Number one, put back the homeless outreach unit of the NYPD. These were dedicated men and women, police officers, by the way, with nurses and mental health care experts with them when they would take care of the homeless and the emotionally disturbed in the subways, the streets, and the parks. That was disbanded by de Blasio when he took $1 billion out of the budget. Eric Adams never put it back. I restart that from day one, because that's the expertise that we're lacking. And then I have the transit police reassigned to actually patrolling up and down the moving trains the way they used to give you a feeling of relief. Because if all of a sudden you've had a crime committed against you, are you going to get off on some isolated platform in the middle of a borough that you're not even familiar with to try to find a cop to report it? No. And that's the problem that I run across time and time again, especially from women passengers.
Now, you said you want to hire more officers and to build back up the police force. What's your message to New Yorkers who want to become cops? How are you going to incentivize them to become cops?
Well, it used to be that usually families would recommend to the men and women in their family, whether it's their siblings, their nieces, their nephews, their grandchildren. I was a cop for 20 years. You should. They're not doing that anymore. Because they've been stripped of qualified immunity. It is the only group of civil servants who are not protected by the insurance that we pay for as taxpayers. The mayor is, district attorneys are, judges, everybody's covered by qualified immunity, not the cops. We got to restore that, or a young man or a young woman thinking of it as a career is going to say, but I was told I'm not going to be insured when I'm out there doing my sworn duty, and that I could personally be sued. If you don't eliminate that, if you don't go back to the old standard, it's going to be tough recruiting these officers.
Now, turning to affordability, you have 2 items I want to talk about here. One, you want to reimburse New Yorkers up to $500 yearly on tolls spent driving into Manhattan's congestion pricing zone. So how are you going to get that money, and explain more?
Well, congestion pricing has been a complete disaster, because all it has done is pick the pockets of commuters, most of them blue-collar working class. We see storefronts closing all south of 60th Street because they don't have enough foot traffic. So we got to give a rebate, got to give $500 back to the people who are getting ripped off by this congestion pricing. And what I do in league with that is work with the federal administration that wants to undo the congestion pricing. Because if Jack Citarelli is elected governor, which might happen in New Jersey, the Republican, he is going to launch a reverse commuter tax of people leaving New York City going into New Jersey. And all it will do is keep raising taxes, and you're not going to get services, and it's going to give you another reason to leave the city of New York. I want people to improve, not to move. We got to end that congestion tax.
So where are you going to get that $500? You're going to convince the city council to give it to you?
Well, you do cutting within the budget itself. It's a $118 billion bloated budget, top-heavy at the Department of Education. So you cut up top, and you'll find the money to be able to put money back into the pockets of the people coming in, who have to come in to go south to 60th Street, congestion pricing, put the money back because we've picked their pockets to begin with.
Now, you also want to create an income tax holiday and freeze income taxes for New Yorkers under the age of 30. And I believe you want to do that for New Yorkers who've graduated as well from New York universities. Explain more about this program.
Yeah, we have flight of a lot of the millennials and Gen Zers who've done exactly as we asked them to do. Get your 4 years of college, your graduate degree, you have a really good skill level. Maybe you're a CPA, accountant, financial analyst, a lawyer. But they find out that they can't make ends meet. The income tax is another problem. Their student loans is a problem. Their rent is a problem. So we can deal with the things that it's going to encourage them to stay. They got their education here. Why can't we get them to stay here 5 years? We give them a tax holiday on income tax. Because if we don't do that, they're going to join the march out of the city, which is already taking place. And again, it's what you have to do if you want people to improve and not move, which I consistently have been saying since I ran for mayor in 2021.
So on education, you mentioned earlier you want to cut the school budget by $10 billion. Explain how and why.
Well, right now, we're spending $42,000 per pupil, 100,000 less students that are enrolled. 1/3 of them are truants every day. Average fourth grader, 2/3 can't read, write, or do math at grade level. Where's all that money going? It's all top heavy. In the old Tammany Hall building, appropriate. All bureaucracy, all bureaucrats, that gets cut so that we put money in the classroom where the teachers are still reaching into their pocket to pay for badly needed school supplies. The money is there. And I have Bob Holden, who leads the group Democrats for Sliwa. He's term limited out as the Democratic councilman of Middle Village. He was a teacher for 40 years. He's going to help guide me into the locales where all the money is being misspent. But I think everybody would recognize we're not helping the children or the teachers with a bloated budget of $41 billion. It's 1/3 of our overall budget.
What's something unique to your campaign that you're excited to bring to education if you're elected?
Oh, vocational training. There's such a desperate need. When I was going to school, you were guided in the direction of learning a negotiable skill. If it was apparent that academically you were troubled, we're not doing that now at all. The focus is academic excellence for some. But for most, if we can teach them to be carpenters, electricians, plumbers, and now nursing home care aides. We have a growing aging population. We need skilled people to function in those capacities. And I'm in the inner city areas all the time where I recall the benefit of all the vocational high schools, and they say, yeah, how come we don't have that like we used to? We've got to make that a priority. It's going to help so many young men and women who go astray.
Now, I wanted to ask you as well about something that happened this week that you brought up, that you've been dealing with some security concerns, some death threats. Help explain more.
Well, remember, originally it was bribery gate. The billionaire class, on behalf of Andrew Cuomo, were offering me millions of dollars to drop out to sort of pave the way for no cash bail Andrew Cuomo, the guy who killed 15,000 elderly people with his executive order in the middle of COVID. I said you would have to impale me before I would do that. And I put everybody on blast. You keep trying to bribe me, keep trying to influence me. That's criminal, and it stopped. Now, the next level is, and none of this politically connected, let me make that very clear. Everybody who's out there, this frenzy, oh, Zohran Mandami, the world will end. Now some are directing threats to myself and my wife, Nancy, more important than me. Even when I got shot by the Gattis and Gambinos, 1992, I never had armed security thereafter. Yeah. Never. You've seen me in the trains. No security. Now, everywhere I go, armed security. Nancy, where she goes, armed security because of these crazies out there who are threatening my life and Nancy's life. And not on behalf of anybody, but because of the rhetoric that is being stirred up. You got to drop out. You got to... Me drop out? I'm the second major party candidate, the Republican. When you go in and you look, you see Zohran Mandami, Democrat, a Republican, Curtis Sliwa. Try to find Andrew Cuomo's name on that ballot. He's lost amongst all these other independents. No, I'm not dropping out. Don't threaten me, and certainly don't threaten my wife, Nancy.
Yeah, that's horrific, and I'm so sorry to hear that you've been going through that. What makes America great is that we can have different ideas without political violence. Oh. Now, I want to do something that I'm going to be doing with every single candidate in the theme of Halloween. We are having a political trick or treat here. Ooh. So we're going to have you, it's sort of a rapid fire pull out a question and answer it in about a sentence or less. And it has to do with kind of your personality and your campaign. So
you know, that's
go ahead.
my wife Nancy's favorite holiday.
Halloween. It is my favorite holiday as well.
All
Awesome.
right. If you could pick one historic New York City political moment to be part of, what would it be? Political moment. The Canyon of Heroes parade for my beloved New York Yankees when Rudy Giuliani welcomed them to City Hall after a dearth of World Champion Series against the Atlanta Braves, the comeback we made. This year, it didn't happen. I would have loved to have been able to honor the New York Yankees when they beat the Atlanta Braves.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming on, Curtis, and thank you again. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. Anytime.